Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee, Chairman of the subcommittee, for consideration of this important legislation. Jim Oberstar indeed lived a life that was bigger in life. I'll never forget the day Jim walked onto the floor of the House of Representatives after his defeat in that 2010 election. And he was noticed by the other members, and the House of Representatives burst into spontaneous bipartisan applause. I'm not saying that's never happened before, but I've never seen that happen before. And it was an incredible testimonial to the high regard that Jim Oberstar's life and service here was held in. He was a politician, a statesman, an educator, a gourmet chef, a Peace Corps volunteer, not to mention a husband, a father, a opera lover, a linguist, a biker, a hiker, you name it. Jim was into it. One of our humorists from Minnesota once said his intellect was so huge, and his mind was so curious about everything, and he was so capable of absorbing it all. He, perhaps to a fault, assumed that everybody else wanted and had the same interest, and of course he was almost always wrong on that point. But indeed, he was a remarkable man, and he staffed and served on this committee for over 40 years. And let me say that this particular Highway 35 is the main thoroughfare from the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul to Duluth, Minnesota, which is the largest city in greater Minnesota. It's the largest freshwater port anywhere in the world. It's also one of the major railheads in the state of Minnesota. And as we all know, Jim championed the interstate highway system as well as ports and airports during his chairmanship and staff work here on the House Transportation Committee. And this particular interstate highway links all of these transportation modes and is therefore a fitting tribute. As a result, if this bill is passed, I'm told by the head of transportation in Minnesota that it's likely that the state of Minnesota will also make the same name change and is considering historical markers and other tributes associated with the highway with our dear and departed friend. This is a bipartisan bill, enjoys support of all the members of the Minnesota delegation, and it appears that is the same in the case with the members of this committee.